So Monolith Official. What is your approach to EQ a really low tuned guitar? I use an 8-string in B standard with 7-string F and 8. All right, so low tune stuff. For me, it can be tough to get a strong tone that's not too muddy and boxy. All right, dude, a lot of people ask me about this, and you're gonna find everyone's gonna have their own style. I don't really think about this. Here's how I judge it, okay? The tighter the guitar player, the tighter the playing or the better the editing, the more low end I can allow into the mix. It doesn't matter if it's in standard E tuning, drop D tuning, drop C tuning, F sharp, drop G. I've never noticed, I don't have rules for that personally. But the sloppier the playing, the more I have to roll off because the messier the low end will be. So if I'm recording like an old school death metal thing that's maybe live, like if I'm recording them live in the studio and there's no editing and no click track, there's no way I'm gonna have 80 hertz and 70 hertz kicking on those guitars, especially if they're, if it's technical stuff. I'm gonna have to roll off a little more aggressively to like 100, 120, 150. If it's a well-produced track and I'm there making sure all the parts are tight, everything is in sync, I can allow down to 80 hertz, 70 hertz, sometimes even 60 hertz. I know when I was doing a lot of the Gent, when Gent was hot back in the day, I would allow more and more low end because everything is so edited and tight that the low end becomes really interlocked easily. That's my approach. Again, I know there are guys out there that follow different philosophies, but that's my approach, man. So make sure the playing is tight. That will definitely help. So hopefully that helps. So Serge asks, Bobby, is your clear and heavy mix formula for guitars recorded via live amps or amp sims? Both, it doesn't matter. If you're working with an amp sim with a good impulse response, there should be no difference in mixing between a live amp and an amp sim. Because here's the thing, people have this thing in their heads that live amps magically sound better than amp sims. And the reality is, miking up a cab takes experience. And most of the time, the better amp tones I hear are from amp sims because it's easier for people to dial in. So for me, in my experience, I don't care if it's an amp sim or a live amp. A good amp sim tone and a good live amp sim tone should be the same. They're interchangeable. And I know when I work with bands, they have no idea if I reamped it through a real amp, if I'm using an amp sim. I've gotten projects with really bad recorded guitar tones, like that somebody mic'd up, even in a pro studio, and I've used the TSC audio with my own impulse response, and they're loving it, and they have no idea. They have no idea it's an amp sim. And I only tell them if they ask. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Steven asks, what are your go-to IRs? There are so many out there. Well, Steven, I make my own impulse responses. And as a matter of fact, I make them available for free to everyone on YouTube. Now, I'm not that much of a stickler. It's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm just really picky. I don't know. All I know is that most of the impulse responses are pretty terrible. It's gotten better though. A lot of the newer amp sims I'm hearing come with better sounding presets and IRs, but for a while, it was just really muffly, weird, phasey impulse response to me. Okay, me personally, I like a guitar tone that's very open and not nasally in one specific frequency range. I don't want to have to over EQ my heavy guitar tracks. That's just my own personal preference. So I just started making my own. Again, I know it's not cool to like V30s right now. I know it's not cool to like Mesa Boogie cabs, but dude, I'm still coming up with new tones with that rig, personally. I do use other amps as well. Sometimes I'll use Orange cabs, I'll use Marshall cabs. I've made IRs of that cab, my favorite cab, which is my own cab that I have out in my studio, and those are the ones that I use. Give them a shot, I think you'll like them. So Richie's asks or says, playing metal with a clean tone, then adding an amp sim could throw off your timing and your feel. Well, yeah, you don't want to play with a clean tone. You want to play through the amp sim. That's what you want to do. So what I do, for example, I'm doing the new Tombs record in January. We usually reamp. Plus in my studio, I don't have a booth where I could put an amp. So I can only record DIs live. So what we'll do, we'll record the drums, bass will all be DI, guitars will all be DI, and then I take those DIs, we're monitoring through an amp sim, and then I reamp them through their Mesa Boogie and their 5150 at the end of the production when everything is done. But we're always monitoring through an amp sim. Hopefully that helps. Now, the truth is we live in the best time in history to be a metal or rock musician. And this comes down to the simple fact that we have access to these things called MIDI drums and amp sims, which allow us to produce fully professional sounding results right within our home studios. The problem is that so many of us make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And because of this, I'm giving you direct access right now to my MIDI drums and amp sims production checklist. It's where I highlight these mistakes and show you how you could avoid them so you could achieve better results with the gear you're currently using. The PDF guide is absolutely free, and there's a link in this video's description where you can download it right now. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do not forget to click the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things metal and rock production. Till next time, happy mixing.